So I want you to picture two women. Both of them are 55. Both of them care about the health. Both of them have showed up for years with real intentions and real effort on improving their health and wellness. One of them is 72 now, and she's still hiking, doing all of the things. She walks her dog every morning without even thinking about it. She took a trip recently last spring that consisted of a bunch of long flights and full days on her feet, cobblestone streets, and she came home tired, but in a good way. Just a tired jet. She can tell that she had really been doing something. And so the other woman, however, she's 72 as well now, and she's managing. She's had a knee replacement, a shoulder that's been giving her problems for years. She scaled back more time than she's planned to. She spent more energy working around her body than living inside it. They're both the same age, same decades of effort, same intention, but completely different lives. What made the difference? It wasn't talent, it wasn't their genetics, it wasn't even how hard they worked over those years. It was whether the way they trained was something their bodies could actually sustain and build on over time. That was the determining factor. Peace, love, light, and healing. Naraya, the founder of Iron City Biomechanics, we bridge the gap between healthcare and fitness. And today I want to talk to you about the long game because most of the fitness world right now is about talking about the right now and not really the longevity side of each individual's life. Here's something I've noticed working with people over the years. Almost everyone is thinking about the next workout or the instantaneous result that they can get. Very few people are thinking about the next decade. And that gap between the short term performance and the long term sustainability is exactly where self sabotage lives. Not the dramatic kind where you do something obviously reckless, but the quiet kind where you show up, you push hard, you stay consistent, and the way you're doing it is slowly accumulating a cost that won't show up over the next for the on your next bill for years. And by the time it does, the options are harder. Most people ask, am I working hard enough right now? Am I doing the right things? The question that actually matters is the way I'm training something my body can contain, adapt to it, and build on it for the next 10, 15, 20 years? Those are two different questions. The woman who is still hiking at 72, she did not train less. And so I want to be clear about that. It was just her approach was a lot different. She still challenged herself. There were hard days, heavy efforts, sessions that left her genuinely spent, but she did something that the fitness world rarely celebrates. She recovered on purpose. She didn't treat rest as a reward for when she had finally earned it. She built it into the plan like it actually mattered because it does. She paid attention to what her body was telling her, not to avoid discomfort, but to understand, I should say, the difference between productive challenge and a warning she needed to hear. And so over time, not in a dramatic transformation story way, but in a quiet, cumulative way, her body became more durable, more capable, more available to her life. Not despite her seasoned in years, but because of how she spent those years. And so here's what I want every person that I work with to understand, because this almost never gets explained clearly, I believe. When training demand consistently outpaces your recovery, the body stops building and starts managing. And so what that means is, instead of fully repairing the tissue between sessions, It patches. So instead of strengthening the structure under the load, it starts to compensate, finding workarounds that protect the overloaded area in the short term, but create new vulnerabilities over time. And so you don't feel this happening on a random Wednesday morning when you push through soreness and finish a workout. You feel it 18 to 20 months later when the shoulder that's been quietly accumulating finally makes itself known. When the knee stops cooperating with you. When the fatigue won't lift no matter how much sleep you're getting. And by then, the gap is way harder to close. And so the woman that's still hiking, she didn't avoid this by being lucky or whatever. She avoided it by keeping her body in a state of adaptation, not in a state of chronic stress. I've talked about stress and how it affects the body in other videos, but and today, I want to go over the four signs that you need to pay attention to. And so, number one, if something is always rotating through, not one acute injury, but the revolving door, whether you have a hip issue this month, a knee issue is another month, a shoulder issue another month, those needs to be addressed. Number two, if you're working harder but you feel less capable in your daily life, effort is not your issue. So if you're struggling going upstairs or walking or doing regular day-to-day things, then you need to again adjust. Number three, recovery takes longer than it used to, and you keep pushing through it anyways. A longer recovery as you age is real, and I respect that. But the answer is not always resting longer. Number four, if you can't picture doing what you're doing now at the age of 70, then you need to restructure your training program. And so the things that you're doing now should be helping you for your latter years. And so that is sustainable training. And so sustainable training is not a softer version of real training. It's a smarter version because load applied progressively, recovery that's planned, not improvised, variety that distributes demand instead of grinding the same structures week after week, and a definition progress that expands beyond output to include how durable you're becoming in your day-to-day life. Those things matter. That's what should matter to you anyway. That's the long game. I'm all about longevity. And here's what I want you to hear clearly. The woman that's still hiking at 72 is not some rare expectation. That's achievable for you as well. She is what consistent, sustainable, and intelligent training produces. But it starts with asking a different question. Not how hard, but how smart. Not how much, but how sustainable. And it starts now. While the decisions you make today can still shape the decade ahead of you, decisions you do make or don't make, those things affect the next decade. And so, if this landed with you, if you saw yourself in either of those two women and you want to make sure that you're on the right path, I want to invite you to take the next step. Schedule a no sweat intro or a movement assessment with one of the fitness practitioners here at Iron City Biomechanics. This is a one on one focused conversation about how you move, how your body is holding up under the demands you're placing on it, and what a smarter, more sustainable path looks like for you. And so this isn't some generic thing where we just throw it all together. This is taking away all of the guesswork and giving you some real answers and a strategy to build on for the long game. And so the link is in the bio. We're right here in Vestavia Hills, Alabama, and we work with men and women who are ready to stop training for right now and start building for everything that comes next. Again, I'm Nariah. Gratitude for being here, and I'll see you whenever I'm looking at you.